Hi, I'm Senator Malcolm Roberts from Queensland, and I'm in Waikerie, South Australia, in the heart of an irrigation area, with Joe Groppler, who's been a long-time cherry farmer and also chair and member of various irrigation trusts, including the Central Irrigation Trust. You're a member of that.
Yep.
And you've got a couple of messages, two important figures.
Well, I think it's time everybody understood just the repercussions of what happens when we have the drought. We had a drought back in 2006, and it took me out of production. I was paying $1,200 for a megalitre of water to keep my trees alive, and it virtually sent me broke. Now, we're doing this same drought exercise again, and nobody has learnt a thing. We've lost a third of our family farmers in the Riverland last drought. That's a third of families that were sent to the wall, and now we've got empty shops, we've got businesses that can't be viable, and the whole place is running down. And yet here we are, 9 years on, and we're going to do the same thing again this drought. Next year it will be crunch year, and those family farmers have been turning off their water. My son
So their crops just die.
That's right. My son's just turned off his cherry patch, and it is starting to wilt already. I struggle to drive past because it upsets me so much, because our family planted every one of those trees with a shovel. We did it as a family, and it really hurts to go past and watch them die now because of what's happening with the water.
How old are these trees?
It's up to 30 years old.
30 years of work.
Yeah, no, 37 years of work. It took us, we had the earliest cherries in Australia, and it was done without any help from anywhere else. We had to learn with the School of Hard Knocks. We learned along the way. But now, to watch them die, it just breaks your heart. But I feel for all these other family farmers that are going to go through the hardship that we went through last drought.
And you're particularly annoyed because there's a figure that you talk about with regard to the water that's flowing down to evaporate.
Well, we've got a lot of water going past us at present. Our entitlement flow is we're currently getting 6 gigalitres a day, and each gigalitre is worth $10 million, so it's $60 million worth of water coming across the state. But we've got to remember that when that water comes across the border, that South Australia evaporates a third of that. So 40 gigalitres of that water evaporates. You don't see it, you don't smell it, but it disappears every day.
Does no good to anyone.
It's no use to anybody. But where it mainly goes is to the lower lakes. And I've got to say this because it's important. The lower lakes evaporate $30.8 million of water every day. That is what is happening, and you know that's the average per day that we are losing from that river. Now,
so $31 million a day is evaporating, and not going to farms that are shutting down and trees dying.
No, so if we address the evaporative losses from those lower lakes, there's a solution. It needs engineering works to make it fair and equitable to everybody, but it can be done, and it must be done, because there is no other short-term fix to fix this issue. And if we don't do a short-term fix to fix this issue, there's going to be another lot of family farmers all along the river that are going to perish and go through the hell that I've been through. And
teachers and bakers and everyone else who services a town.
It doesn't stop.
Services a community. So that's the dire straits and the simple solution.
And where do we go? Who supports us then? Where do we move to? Do we stay on our blocks and squat it out? I don't know. When you lose everything, that's when you know how hard it hits people. And until you've been through it and experienced it, you wouldn't wish it on anybody. And yet we're going to do it again. and I'm so sad that nobody's listening, and that hurt is going to really harm a lot of people. That's about all I could say at the stage.
That's fine. That's fine.